All right, guys, good afternoon. I don't know if you guys can hear me or not. Give me a thumbs up if you can. We have an interesting development this afternoon, or this morning, actually. Tornado warning in effect. I'm going to try to get situated here in just a brief minute. I was caught off guard by this. So give me just a second here. This is going to be in effect for Chesaning, Brant areas, Oakley, LC, Ovid areas. I'm not exactly sure what triggered this. Looking at velocity, I don't really see much here at all either. So I'm a little confused, but we're going to track this. Obviously, something happened that they issued the warning. I'm sure they probably got a report or something behind the scenes of something happening, but I am not aware of this at the current moment. So bear with me here. This was a setup from scratch. I was not prepared at all for this. So give me a few minutes here to get situated on my streaming software here. Audio's good. Thank you guys for the audio check there. Getting the stream set up on the back end here. So just give me a few minutes here. A few seconds, should I say. All right, here we go. This is going to be in the Ovid, Chapin, and Elsie area. If I animate this, you're going to notice a movement to the northeast toward Brant, St. Charles, and the Chesaning area. I'm going to have to go back on radar here and figure out if there's anything on the velocity spectrum here that really indicated anything rotation-wise. And I don't really see much of anything in general here that warrants attention for a tornado warning. So I'm assuming maybe a land spout or perhaps a funnel cloud report from a viewer or from a public. I don't know what happened with this, but we're going to treat it seriously, obviously. This is going to be in the, again, Oakley and Chesaning areas. This is going to be in northern Shiawassee and southern Saginaw County areas. Get this pulled up here. I need to run grab my headphones here as well. Yeah, I don't have headphones either. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta grab my headphones real quick. Headphones are required when I stream. That way audio's not coming back in my ears all the time. All right, now we're good to go now. All right, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get this situated. I'm going to pull up our advanced radar as well, GR2, so we can track if there's a debris ball or something like that. But otherwise, southern Saginaw and northern Shiawassee County, tornado warning in effect here until 12:30 p.m. It is radar indicated. It is not a confirmed warning. The text of this warning says a severe storm capable of producing a tornado is located over Elsie, 10 miles east of St. John, moving northeast at 20 miles per hour. The source is radar indicated rotation. There's no text in here that says it was reported by a spotter or anything like that. So I do not know what the cause or source of this was. Looking at the debris tracker, I don't see debris on this as well. So I'm a little bit confused, but we're going to treat this as a serious situation. If there's anything on the ground here, it's going to be somewhere, I'm going to assume, down here by Ovid, up toward Chapin areas. This is going to be on Juddville Road, Riley Road, Buck Road, Henderson Road, and Allen Road areas here just in the east side of Elsie. This is going to be a... Okay, so apparently... Okay, I got information coming back behind the scenes now. Okay, so what happened was Eaton County reported a landspout tornado that did damage. This is going to be back in the Grand Ledge area. So once again, a landspout tornado occurred back in the Grand Ledge, Eaton County area with this particular storm. It is now tornado warned. So there is going to be a hazard here for a landspout tornado that was confirmed back in the Grand Ledge area. Obviously, the storm has moved out of that area toward Ovid, but the same storm capable of producing that is still heading up in toward the Chesaning area. Looking at the rotation with these particular setups, it's going to do us no good here because landspouts are very weak and shallow in nature. We're not going to end up seeing it on radar, more than likely. So we're going to have to guess, basically. If you're anywhere in the tornado warning polygon, which goes up to St. Charles, Brant, Chesaning, Oakley, Chapin, down toward Ovid and Elsie, you should be inside and taking shelter from this potential landspout tornado. Again, if there's anything, it's going to be right around the M57, M52 corridor down back toward Ovid here, looking at Juddville Road, Carland Road, Allen Road, and Smith Road. Juddville Road as well. M52 coming up here just north of Owasso. Owasso, I think you guys are fine, I have to assume, in downtown there. The warning polygon is just to your north, and I think the area of interest is also just to your north as well. I pull up our camera network here to see if I can't get a view on anything. We do have a couple cameras out there. We do have the Flushing cam, courtesy of Bigfoot Pro Services. I'll pull that up here and keep an eye on that just in case. We also have the Grand Blanc, Burton, and Fenton cams to take a peek at as well. But the storm is just off to the west of this, the cameras there. So we're not going to have a good visual on that just yet. The tornado warning in effect until 12:30 p.m., so 29 more minutes. This is going to be, again, for southern Saginaw and northern Shiawassee County. There was a landspout tornado that was confirmed, and damage has been confirmed already in the Grand Ledge area. That's going to be courtesy behind the scenes of some reports that I'm seeing. So once again, this storm has a history of producing a tornado, albeit as a landspout. It still counts as a tornado. I assume perhaps another report came in of a funnel cloud, maybe. I'm not sure if there's something that happened in the Ovid area here, but otherwise, we're going to treat this as a tornado is on the ground somewhere in the Chapin to Ovid area here. I want to back this up, and I want to track this back toward Grand Ledge, because back here is where it happened. So if we track that up to the north, we see any rotation with it? Not really much of anything. Maybe some there by DeWitt, just north of Lansing there. And that looks to be now crossing up in toward the Chapin area, if I had to guess. So if there's anything happening, if I track this back toward Grand Ledge, the area of interest is between Elsie and Chapin here. Going to be crossing Ridge Road and Chapin Road at the current time. We also have Epton Road, Huff Road, Kramer Road, Henderson Road, and Meridian Road, all in that vicinity as well. If you guys are seeing anything yourselves here in chat, feel free to send us a direct message or leave a comment on not this post, but another post on our page. Would appreciate your guys' reports on this. We're not going to have good radar data with a potential landspout just because they're shallow rooted. They're not going to be a very deep rooted rotational signature. So we're not going to see it on radar. We have to guess. So this is where the best thing is viewer reports, cameras, storm chasers, real-time eyes on the ground, because this is exactly where it matters right here. So if you guys are watching from this tornado warning area and you see something or have seen something, you do so safely. Please report it to us. And obviously you should be in shelter if you can be in shelter. Basement, interior closet. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Again, this is a tornado warning in effect for northern Shiawassee and the southern part of Saginaw County. I do see some comments there about my warnings not really being visible. I will toggle that on for the fill. There you go. There is your tornado warning there on screen now. This is going to be for St. Charles, Brant, Chesaning, Oakley, Chapin, and Ovid areas. M52 from Owasso up to St. Charles is going to be impacted by this. Brant, M57 as well, also known as Brady Road. Any area of interest that I'm going to probably guess is going to be right around the Chapin area here, just south of Ridge Road. That's going to be the area that I'm concerned about. Rotation, again, we're not going to see much of anything just because land spouts are not deeply rooted in the atmosphere. They're very, very shallow. So kind of a surprise morning here. Did not expect this to be the case. Looking at our camera network as well, I don't really see much yet on the Flushing camera here, courtesy of Bigfoot Pro Services. I don't see anything. It's just a lot of clouds looking west here out of Flushing, which is looking right at the storm, but unfortunately it's a little bit too far away from the camera here to be any impact or any at least visual for it. So a landspout tornado is a weaker subtype of a tornado. So think of an actual tornado associated with a rotating updraft supercell storm. Landspouts don't have that rotating updraft. They form on surface boundaries. They can form on cold fronts, warm fronts, outflow boundaries, stuff like that. They are very shallow. They're typically weaker in nature, but when they touch down, they still count as a tornado. So with that in mind, we've already had damage reported from this landspout over in the Grand Ledge region. So we have to treat this as a tornado is on the ground. I don't know if there is one. We're not going to see it on radar because it's, like I said, not deeply rooted. So we're not going to have a good idea if there's anything on the ground here, which is why viewer reports like you guys are coming in handy with us here. Rotation does not appear to be significant. So again, looking at a landspout potential here in this conglomerate mess of rain near the Chapin area. Yeah, I mean, if there's sirens going off, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You guys should be taking shelter if you hear sirens. I'm not sure the policy on Saginaw or in Shiawassee County, but I will say here, if you're down in Perry, Durand, Lennon, Bennington area, if you're up in Saginaw proper, Merrill, Freeland, Frankenmuth, you guys are all clear from this right now. The warning itself is in this red polygon in the southern and southwest part of Saginaw County, and then the northern part of Shiawassee County. Again, Owasso, I think you guys are okay. You're just outside the polygon here. The storm itself is passing just off to your north. It's heading up toward Chesaning, Oakley. It's over Chapin right now. It's a very slow moving storm. Area of interest is right near the Chapin area, just along North Carland Road, also known as South Chapin Road, crossroad of Allen Road. I'm going to go back here on the radar here. I want to take a look at a little bit further imaging back with this cell. Oh yeah, look at that. Yep, there it is. So on the bottom right of your screen is going to be your debris tracker. You can see where it touched down here, just south of Eagle, just north of Grand Ledge. That is your CC drop here that happened just west of Wright Road. It moved up toward Wacoosta, which is going to be Wright Road cross of Herbison Road. And that tracked off to the northeast. It crossed Howe Road and it continued up toward Francis Road. That is a legitimate debris signature that happened back in Grand Ledge with this storm. That is as clear as day there. You can see a clear ZDR hole. You can see a clear debris ball. That is a classic signature of debris being lofted from a tornado. So as that moved up and into the area here, it may potentially have touched down again. In fact, that may have actually touched down here just west of Ovid, perhaps. It's also correlating with some hail up here. So it could be hail as well, but potential another debris ball happened between Ovid and Duplain off of Kinley Road and Shepherdsville Road. That could be hail, not a clear-cut signature there, but that continued up and is now currently in the Chapin area. So area of interest now is going to be in Chapin. Roads here, I'll go ahead and get this back out of the 4 panel, back into the 1 panel. So give me a second to do that. There we go. This is going to be basically on Ridge Road and Carland Road. It's going to be the general area of concern. Yeah, this was not expected today at all, guys. This is not forecasted. So this is definitely a surprise. Current time is 12:10 p.m. Eastern. I need to post out to people on Facebook as well, so bear with me. I'm working solo again. We're going to watch the debris tracker closely here because usually land spouts don't loft debris very high. This one obviously did. So there's a chance here we may be able to see debris. We're not going to see velocity very supportive of it, but we may see debris. So I'm going to flip this over here to the radar here. Get the debris tracker. There we go. The text of this was just updated. Continues until 12:30 p.m. It continues to be radar indicated, and we're not seeing any debris ball here on screen. But again, we're going to track this very carefully. Saginaw itself, you guys should be okay from this storm. This is going to be heading up your direction, yes, but it's got a bit to go. It's moving very slow, so that's good news. I think the area of interest here is going to be down the Chapin area still. It's very slow moving, so we're going to be saying the exact same names over and over while it moves up to the north and northeast. Chesaning, Oakley, Brant area, Chapin, M57 corridor, M52 corridor, all at risk here from a potential land spout tornado. If confirmed, which I assume it will be, this would be Michigan's 17th tornado of the year. If you're just tuning in, just a quick recap, there's damage reported in the Grand Ledge area in a clear-cut signature of what looks to be a tornado that touched down somewhere between Grand Ledge, what was the other name of that? Eagle and Grand Ledge area. So with that said, this storm has moved up into Shiawassee and Saginaw counties, and it did exhibit some rotation with perhaps a debris signature near Ovid, but that has since weakened. And for right now, I think the area of interest is going to be in the Chapin area. So there is a tornado warning in effect until 12:30 p.m. Southern Saginaw and northern Shiawassee counties are in that warning. This red polygon on your screen is going to be that warning. So if you live in or directly close to it, you should be in shelter. Again, Owasso is clear. Ovid, you should be okay. Merrill's okay. Flushing should be okay. It is heading up toward Frankenmuth and Saginaw, but as I mentioned before, it's going very slow. So it's going to take some time to get up your direction. hop in the chat here. Have you guys seen or heard anything from your perspective of things? I want to see what you guys are hearing here in chat. There's just not much to talk about on radar. Again, if you're just tuning in, if you live in this polygon, you should be in shelter. There is a landspout tornado that happened back in Grand Ledge, and this storm has a history of producing landspout tornadoes, which is why it's warned. So Oakley, Chesaning, Brant, and Chapin areas all need to be inside, away from windows, particularly your basement. Again, severe weather is not expected today, but obviously we have something happening now. But this is not a widespread event. We are watching tomorrow and Thursday for severe weather. In fact, when this warning dropped, I was actually making the daily video. So I had to kind of reroute that. So if you're a YouTube avid watcher, I apologize. It's going to be delayed today. But we're watching Wednesday and Thursday for a much higher severe potential here. This was not expected, and I don't expect this to be a long-lived event today. Got a video behind the scenes coming in up with the potential. Yep, there it is. Yep. That's 100% a tornado that happened in Grand Ledge. Got video of it. So 100% confirmed via viewer. That is definitely a tornado that happened back in Grand Ledge. So this storm is out of the Grand Ledge area. So if you are in that area, there's no concern. It is now moving up here into the Chesaning area. So this is where the current concern is. So again, there is no signature on radar that can tell us a landspout is occurring other than a debris ball, because they're not very deeply rooted in the atmosphere. So the rotation from the radar beam is not going to be detected very easily. Also hearing reports of other damage around the area. So if you guys happen to live in the Eagle to Grand Ledge to DeWitt area, you guys have damage reports or pictures, feel free to message us here at MSC. We appreciate those reports. We can relay those to NWS. But as it stands right now, that was 100% a landspout tornado that occurred back in that area. Right now, though, I don't see any debris. I don't see any rotation on radar. So it's just kind of a wait and see game at this point. The warning continues for another 13 minutes. It expires at 12:30 p.m. We'll see if they extend it. If they do, it'll probably be for the exact same areas, because as you can see, this storm has barely moved out of the area, if at all. Area of interest, I would say near Chapin still. But there's a couple areas that could be of concern. It could be up here by Brant, Ithaca Road, Merrill Road. It also could be down here on the south side of this by Juddville Road and Allen Road, heading up toward New Haven and Oakley areas. So there is quite a bit of uncertainty within this warning. A typical tornado, we can see, hey, this is where the rotation is. This is where the debris ball is. This one, it's not as easy. Yes, this is correct. There is a tornado warning in effect for Shiawassee and Saginaw counties. Owasso should be in the clear. I believe Chandler's going to hop on with me here as well, so we'll have some help. But again, this warning expires here in 11 minutes now at 12:30, so hopefully it expires. We can hop off here. I don't, without looking at mesoanalysis or the real-time data, this threat for a landspout may continue. I don't know for sure. but I'm going to try and take a peek really quick to see if there's a bit of a what we call cheat code out there. So there's 2 ingredients we look for, and yeah, there's a lot of it. So there's 2 ingredients we look for in a land spout or even cold air funnels. It's called vorticity and 3 Cape. And there's actually a pretty good overlap today across the state of Michigan. In fact, I'd argue that in the thumb region, up in Huron, Tuscola, and Sanilac, St. Clair counties, we're going to have a little bit higher vorticity and 3 Cape overlaps. So this may be moving into a better environment for potential more land spouts. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that as this moves to the east, as it does so here this afternoon. So I guess stay with us. We'll be probably off and on if need be all day, if needed. Hopefully we don't have to come to that, but in the event it does, we'll be here. Movement is northeast at 20, yes. I would say it might be a bit slower than that, just based off radar data. Would not be shocked to see like 10 mile an hour instead. Yeah, quite interesting morning, isn't it? I will not argue that. Owasso has, I would say, always been in the clear there. You've never been underneath the warning. The warning box has been to your north. So yes, you are clear in Owasso. Same thing goes for Durand, Perry, Ovid, St. John's, Merrill as well. I think the strongest area here is going to be two areas, like I'm mentioning, down here on Juddville Road near Henderson, moving to the northeast. Also up here, we have to keep an eye on the Ithaca Road just south of Lakefield area. Those would be the 2 areas I'd be most concerned about. Current time is 12:21 p.m. If this warning does expire, I'm probably going to hop out of here and grab some food really quick just because I have not ate this morning. So I want to catch a break if need be, if I can. I'll take the next break we have as I can. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Current time 12:22. I'm Ryan here, Michigan Storm Chasers, live for a surprise tornado warning up in Shiawassee and Saginaw counties. The current indication is going to be where this could be potentially at, just north of Owasso, just south of Oakley, heading into New Haven. Also area of interest up here just south of Lakefield along Ithaca Road. I'm going to go back to the 1-panel look. There we go. A bit cleaner. This is also a new software. We're trialing this today. So you should be able to see the roads a whole lot better on this software. Zooming out here, taking a peek across the state, we have these scattered pop-up storms that have been expected for a while now today. However, we did not forecast severe today. There is potential for a landspout or two with today's setup with the vorticity and 3 Cape overlap in the thumb region especially. I would not be shocked to see a couple more reports come in. However, I do not expect today to be a widespread severe event, so no concern there. And if you are in the thumb region, you have the highest concern for anything landspout related, if indeed more happen. The warning expires in 5 minutes or so. We'll see what they do with it. If they'll expire it or if they're going to continue it. Checking our comment section here for damage reports. Looks like there was a potential trailer park that was also impacted. I don't see any significant damage, but it looks like there's some definite tree damage in the area. I don't see any structure damage though, which is typically a land spout is very weak in nature. We're talking winds probably around 80 or so miles per hour at most. So again, if you're just tuning in, if you didn't catch what I said the first couple of times, a typical tornado has a deep rotating updraft. A land spout tornado doesn't have that rotating updraft. It's more so surface based on outflow boundaries, cold fronts, warm fronts, stuff like that. So it doesn't have the very deep support to produce significant wind gusts, but still it can do damage as evident today. But typically those winds are usually weak, like EF0, EF1 type. So looking up here by Lakefield, I want to highlight this as well. When I see, on days like today, when I see increased velocity like this one, just south of Lakefield, I have to kind of wonder if something's going on there because, again, we're not going to see a very strong rotation signature. So when we do see a little bit of an increase there, it kind of keys into like, hey, what's going on here? So we're going to watch up here. This is going to be just east of Merrill Road, crossing Nelson and Grabowski Road, also crossing Steel Road and Iva Road here shortly. We're going to watch up here just south of Lakefield for this increase of velocity here. Maybe one to watch. I kind of want to go back to 4-panel here. I'm seeing something happening I don't like to see on days like today. So I'm gonna go back to 4-panel. I apologize for the confusing nature of this, but it helps me track things. I'm working solo today, so I can track things more easily this way. But if we look at this area up here by Lakefield down to Brant, you see this increase of velocity here. That's where you're gonna have a land spout form. If there's gonna be one at all, it's gonna be up here near Brant, over toward the Ithaca Town Line Road area, up toward Lakefield. Those are gonna be interesting for sure. Whoops. So area of interest now, I'm going to say up here by Brant is going to be where we're going to focus in on. Would not be shocked if they issue another warning up there for the Lakefield area at all. I would not be shocked at all. Also curious what they're going to do here in about another minute. The warning expires at 12:30, but I don't like the signatures here on radar, so they may reissue something here for Saginaw County. Would not be shocked by that at all. We'll see. So at the current moment, we're about to expire this warning. be all clear in just a minute, but I do think there's potential they could reissue something. So we're going to wait a little bit and see what they do. In the meantime, there is a little bit of velocity increase that concerns me. So with that said, I may stay live here for a brief couple more minutes just to make sure, but we'll be checking this very carefully here. There it is.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
I am not surprised at all by that. Get this graphic posted here. This is going to be for Saginaw County until 1:15 p.m. And that's going to be for the cell we're watching here. Not surprised at all by that. So we've been watching that area up here by Brant, Lakefield area, and that's what they warned. This is going to be down by Merrill Road, Town Line Road, and Nelson Road. Merrill, Town Line, and Nelson Road. So backing this up here, animating the radar here, dragging this back and forth. This is going to be heading up toward Hemlock, Shields, and Merrill area. This should track just east of Merrill, but Hemlock and M46 corridor here should be on alert. Area of interest down here, where this red, or circling my mouse here, that's going to be area of interest here, tracking to the northeast toward Hemlock, M46, and eventually toward Freeland. If this takes a right turn, it could go into Saginaw proper. But as it current stands, it's moving to the northeast toward Hemlock. So if you live along South Hemlock Road, Swan Creek Road, Lakefield Road, up toward Gratiot, Geddes, Frost, and Fordney Road, you guys are next up under the gun for this. Current area of interest is on McKay Road, Grabowski Road, Ivor Road, and South Brennan Road, about to cross Roosevelt, Spencer, and Hemlock Roads. Again, this is the only warning in the state currently, and this cluster of storms, the environment it's in, if you're just tuning in, the environment has something called three cape and vorticity. When you have those two ingredients come together and overlap, you typically see cold air funnels, funnel clouds in general, or in this case, land spout tornadoes. If you're just tuning in as well, we already had a confirmed land spout that did damage back in Grand Ledge. So this already has a history of producing tornadoes, although it's still up here in the Tri-Cities now. It is still worth monitoring and watching as the velocity here is supportive. We're not going to see a bright rotational signature, but there's enough here that warrants attention. There's going to be a land spout. It's going to be just north and west of Brant and south and east of Lakefield, right around Town Line Road, if there is one. That's your area of interest. Area of interest now going to be just to the east of Lakefield, along Lakefield Road, about to cross Hemlock Road. Again, we're not going to see rotation on radar, but we're going to see a little bit of increase of velocity here, which is where it's going to occur if there is a land spout tornado occurring. Crossroad of Sleet, Roosevelt, and Spencer Road is the general area this is currently in. Let's take a look at our debris tracker. Still not seeing anything there, which is good news, but again, we may not see it just because land spouts are usually weaker in nature, so we're not always guaranteed to see that. Also going to watch down here by Oakley again. We have some rotation picking up on radar once again by Henderson.
A new tornado warning has been issued.
New warning now just for what we're highlighting down here for Oakley. New warning coming in now for Saginaw and Shiawassee County. Again, this is heading up toward Chesaning, just south of Oakley, moving up toward M57. This is going to be another tornado warning in effect. There's your polygon. It goes over toward New Lothrop, Montrose, Burt areas. This is going to be in effect until 1:15 p.m. 1:15 p.m. Joel, do you want to take over? Yeah. You're good.
There we go. Give me 1 sec. I still got to get my radar set up.
Yep. Chandler, you can go. We got it now. So again, this is going to be a new warning coming in now. This is going to be a rotation coming up by Henderson and Oakley areas. It is radar indicated warning in effect until 1:15 p.m. Debris tracker doesn't have anything conclusive, but we will continue watching this very closely. Joel, get you caught up to speed here. There is a confirmed landspout that was did damage back in Grand Ledge. There is a convergence line with a lot of 3 Cape and vorticity. So this is going to continue into the Thumb region through the afternoon. So a little bit of a surprise day here in Michigan. We're not going to see signatures very well on radar because it is going to be very shallow rooted. Landspouts are not deeply rooted like other tornadoes are. So we're going to kind of play it by ear and sometimes guess where things may be.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at radar now, and that's definitely very shallow out there. Again, 2 tornado warnings in effect, both in the Saginaw County region and Shiawassee County, northern Shiawassee County, and Saginaw County, so western Saginaw County there. Ryan, I did see that your warning was coming through twice, just a heads up there for the sound.
There, should let me going through once now.
So, all right, so the storm movement here is going to be off to the north and northeast. We'll go ahead to tornado warning number 1, the first one up here in western Saginaw County, in effect till 1:15. Again, text here says at 12:30, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Marion Springs, or 8 miles west of St. Charles. Movement is northeast at 20. So it's moving rather slowly here. Again, this is western Saginaw County. It's heading towards Hemlock and Merrill. So that is going to be the M46 corridor. If we head down to the south here, we have warning number 2 that was just issued by the National Weather Service Detroit until 1:15. At 12:34, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Oakley, or moving near Chesaning at off to the northeast, I should say, at 15 miles per hour. So both storms are moving really slowly. If you are in either of these red boxes, you should be taking shelter now. Again, these are landspout tornadoes that are possible today. Damage has already occurred from these storms this afternoon. Kind of a surprise day, as Ryan was mentioning. Again, Chesaning, Oakley around 12:40 p.m. for these storms here. So on radar, we're looking at any areas where there is going to be red and green. And excuse me for 1 second as I actually update our storm motion vector. It should be rather updated because I have northern movement on it, but I will go ahead and change it real quick. There we go. So storm relative velocity gives you an idea of just where exactly in the storm this rotation actually is occurring. And right now we're looking for where the reds and the greens are coming close together. And at the current time, as you can see on radar here, we do have reds and greens close together in the vicinity of Steel Road. The Steel Road at Roosevelt Road. It's about 2 miles south of M46 here, heading directly for Hemlock. So if you're in Hemlock, you should be taking shelter right now. You can also see down to the south here, there's tinier areas of red and green. There's actually 2 different couplets here right in the vicinity of Oakley. The main concern is going to be this couplet right now, about 3/4 of a mile south of downtown Oakley. It's directly on the county line right now in Johnstone Road, about to cross over Johnstone Road at Franchi Road, I think is how you pronounce that. I might be incorrect. That's heading up towards Havana Road and Niver Road. So again, if you guys have damage in the area, let us know. But again, your main concern right now, if you are in one of these red boxes, is take shelter lowest floor of the building if possible. And again, away from windows. If you do not have a basement or interior room on the lowest floor, jump in a bathtub. That's a good idea to do. Again, a bathtub still counts as an extra set of walls between you and the outdoors. It's better than nothing, as we usually say. And of course, when you do go to shelter, make sure to grab some shoes with you and your valuables if you have time. And again, your loved ones are the most important item to bring to shelter with you. So ultimately, if you have no time to take shelter, if you're just jumping on right now and seeing tornado warning for your house, go downstairs, forget everything else. Yourself is the most important thing. And of course, as always, protect your head when you are taking shelter. Kind of takes you back to the days of taking shelter at the elementary school where they have you crouch down the hallway, protect your head. Again, that is because blunt force trauma is the #1 injury when it comes to severe weather. So protect your head. Lowest floor of the building, basement or storm shelter is obviously your best option. So these radar updates are going to be very slow and very quickly in between as they are in rapid scan right now, but you'll see that these storms are moving really slow. And so if you are in and downstream in these red tornado warning boxes, the good news is you have plenty of time to prepare because they are only moving at 20 miles per hour. Also, right now, if you're in downtown Saginaw, Milwaukee, and you might be hearing the sirens, the good news is you are also not in a warning. The red box does not include downtown Saginaw or Milwaukee. It is off to your west and off to your south at the exact same time. So 2 different couplets here within the line of storms. And these are going to continue again off to the north and northeast at about 20 miles per hour if you are just tuning in. If you know anybody that is off to the north, so if we track this storm out, if we play it, loop it here, it's kind of retrograding a little bit back up to the north. So if this does continue to retrograde, actually, Midland, unfortunately, it looks like it would be heading your way if it continues to wobble a little bit off to the west. So Midland, you're not in a tornado warning right now, but you should be on alert. So again, Midland, Auburn, this is up next. So it'd be Midland County, Bay County for this northern cell. And down to the south, we have our Chesaning cell that it would be heading up towards Chesaning. And if it continues to loop up to the north, it would be heading more towards the Burt and Bridgeport area, which, as you guys know, has already gotten a tornado or 2 this year so far. So it'd be another one if there was any damage occurring. So Bridgeport, Burt, Frankenmuth for the southern cell, Freeland, Auburn, Midland downstream from the northern cell. And we do have to watch out because within this line of storms, these cells can pop up quickly and produce new areas of rotation. Go ahead and take a look up and down the line right now just to see, because I noticed there was one tiny couplet here just to the north of St. Charles, this particular cell, which is directly on a lake field. This one is starting to rotate just a little bit. And as Ryan alluded to, as I just jumped on here, you should be mindful that the rotation on radar is not going to look strong because these are land spouts in nature. The current time right now is at the bottom of the screen. It is 12:43. I'm Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzman here, live with severe weather coverage for the state of Michigan on a kind of surprise day. But there is a little bit of shear out there in the atmosphere at the lowest levels of the atmosphere, which is allowing these cells to rotate at the surface and perhaps produce some brief land spouts. All the way zooming out from these areas right now, there is not a whole lot going on with any of the other cells, but we do need to keep an eye out because it is the same exact atmosphere away from this main line right now. So for example, there are a couple cells down here back in the Bath area, down towards Mason, and more of just a rain shower over here in Brighton, but those cells would be moving north into that area where these tornado warnings are currently ongoing. Waiting for a new scan here. Latest scan is at 12:41 and 37 seconds, so that's about 2 minutes old now. Should be getting a new scan here any second. Southern rotation still in the Franchi Road area near Havana Road. And to the north, about 1.5 miles outside of, well, about 2 miles outside of Hemlock, but that's probably going to update here where it's going to be directly over the town of Merrill and Hemlock. So you should be taking shelter if you're in Merrill and Hemlock and any area around it at the current time. Waiting to see. New scan coming in right now. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. That is a tornado warning in effect for portions of Saginaw and Saginaw County again. in New Lothrop, and unfortunately, it looks like the latest scan does uptick the rotation just a hair. We do have a little bit of inverted rotation here just on the Iva Road and Doyle Road vicinity, so it's about probably about a half a mile now. It's just south of M46. In fact, it's close enough now where you can say it is on M46 by the time this information is reaching you guys. So M46 at Iva Road is where that rotation is right now. So it's directly between Hemlock and Merrill. If you know anyone traveling M46, not a good idea to be out there right now. Make sure to take shelter in a sturdy structure if need be. If not, of course, jumping into ditch is going to be your best option. Also, for the cell to the south, the rotation has continued or persisted here as it is now on, surprise, surprise, Ditch Road. And that's going to be at Ditch Road and Niver Road. And this road that curves up to the northeast is Sharon Road. So it's traveling kind of right down Sharon Road, actually. Getting uncomfortably close to downtown Chesaning. If you are in Chesaning and you're just tuning in now, your time to take shelter is right now. This cell is right on your doorstep. And again, any of these cells cannot rule out a brief land spout today. Any of the cells around them are not warned right now. We are continuing to watch. At the current time, as you can see, there's not a whole lot of reds and greens coming together on the velocity radar. There's a little bit of green on the Eaton Rapids cell, but again, that is still a long ways off. Hopefully that does not continue to grow upscale in nature. And the Bath cell, still mainly greens and not reds. So at the current time, it is just these two cells up here in the Chesaning and Hemlock area at the current time. If you are tuning in anywhere in Saginaw County, such as St. Charles, Milwaukee, Saginaw, Bridgeport, those cities I just listed, not in a tornado warning. These red boxes are ultimately the deciding factor on who actually is in a tornado warning. And sometimes, if you have an alert app on your phone that tells you there's a tornado warning in your county, that's good. You should still be prepared. However, this is where you can find out the information of where exactly these tornado warnings are in effect. So if you're in St. Charles right now and you're maybe not sitting comfortably, the good news is the rotation is well off to the south and you're not in a tornado warning. It is down towards Chesaning and Oakley and off to the north towards Hemlock. An update to the tornado warning box, they have trimmed it just a hair. See the red line has switched back. So a couple of rural areas out near St. Charles are no longer in a tornado warning. It does continue for the Hemlock and Freeland area. Again, this is going to be M47. So the M47 corridor south of Auburn and north of Shields is going to be should be on alert next for this rotating storm as it heads up your way. The latest radar scan makes it a little bit more messy. However, another thing to remember here is as the storm continues to move north, the radar beam at this height is getting higher and higher into the atmosphere. In fact, the lowest possible scan we have right now in Hemlock is 4,800 feet off the ground. And with how much shallow shear is out there today, the radar beam cannot see anything below 4,800 feet. So if there's a lot happening in that first mile of the atmosphere, the radar is only picking up on the 400 or so feet between 4,800 and 5,200 of the atmosphere that is rotating and not anything closer to the surface. So keep that in mind. It may not look impressive on velocity radar, which is what I'm showing you guys right now, but you should still be taking shelter if you are in Hemlock. The loose rotation right now is in the vicinity now of Geddes, Geddes, and Brennan Road, North Brennan Road, north of M46. Geddes, okay, north of M46. And to the south, rotation actually has decreased just a tad, still heading up Sharon Road. That's Sharon Road at Furdon Road. So it's about, I would say about a mile now south of downtown Chesaning. I do apologize. I was not on here at the beginning. I was taking a nap because of how many forecasts I had to do last night for the page. And I guess I shouldn't nap anymore because this is what happens. So now that we're here, Orion started the stream and now we're all both, actually our entire staff is on alert behind the scenes. So no matter what, someone's always watching.
Yeah, I was recording daily video when this warning happened. So now I'm hosting. So we're not gonna have a video up for a while for the forecast for Wednesday and Thursday. So I apologize.
Yeah, and tornado warning coverage does take top priority, of course, as always. So If you guys are waiting on a daily video, that'll be out likely later on our YouTube channel. So
I was also set up for Indiana operations, not Michigan, so I had to reset everything.
switch it over, yeah.
And then I had to redo the titles and everything. So it's like a whole process. But we
Yep.
got you. We got you. Maybe a minute or two late, but we got you.
New radar scan coming in. Boy, they're really rapid scanning it now. Sharon Road and Corunna Road, that is still about a mile south of Chesaning for that rotation. And still in the vicinity of Hemlock. It looks like that rotation is shifting around in the storm in the Hemlock area. So while that first bit of rotation kind of went to the west of Hemlock, there's now a new bit in the vicinity of downtown Hemlock. These are the only 2 warnings in the state, by the way. There are no other severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings anywhere else. As mentioned, if you guys are just tuning in, we are watching other cells around the area. However, they are not exhibiting the rotation that we're seeing with these 2 tornado warned cells at the current time. Yes, we have a whole team of storm chasers that are also in the same boat. They were kind of caught off guard about today, and so not anyone. We don't really have anyone out there at the current time. So
Yeah, we also don't have many cameras up this way. We have one in Flushing. We have one in Frankenmuth, but nothing that has a good view on things right now.
I think that was you. I made that noise.
Yeah, I'm trying to get into the cameras.
Got it. If you're watching down in New Lothrop, the tornado warned bit of rotation here is just to your west and north. You guys are in that tornado warning box, so you still want to be taking shelter in case this does shift around. But this rotation is still heading off to the northeast about 20 miles per hour, so it's crossing over M57 either right now or momentarily. M57 near Stewart Road, heading up towards Volkmer Road. There's your updated rotation. Again, we're looking at the areas where there's red and green coming closer together. It doesn't look all that impressive, which is a good sign. However, it's another sign that it is very shallow in the atmosphere today. So if you're in Chesaning and Oakley and you see something to your south or to your east that might represent a funnel, that is likely going to be a landspout tornado. Again, let us know if it is safe to do so, if you can send that image to us. Again, because then the National Weather Service can issue another tornado warning. Same thing for the Hemlock area. Your safety is number one. But if you are off to the south, outside of this tornado warning box now, able to send in photos of either damage or ongoing tornadoes, let us know and we'll pass it over to the National Weather Service so they can update their warnings for this area. Again, this is Saginaw County and very extreme northern Shiawassee County. So if you're in Owasso, Durand, Perry, sirens are going off. You guys are in the clear right now. This tornado warning only includes the far northeastern corner. So again, the National Weather Service can write boxes that overlap certain counties and only include portions of counties. So keep that in mind. Those are the red boxes you see on the screen. So again, downtown Chesaning and south and east of Chesaning is where this bit of rotation is at. If you look at the radar right now, that's where the reds and greens come close together. If you are anywhere in or around Chesaning right now, you should be taking shelter and waiting out the storm until this warning box does expire. Same thing goes for Merrill and Hemlock. Anywhere in this area, it's very kind of disorganized according to radar, but there's a lot of red and green kind of paralleling each other up and down this line, and that means new bits of rotation can spin up anywhere in this area. So Hemlock, Merrill, this M46 corridor, and points north, so heading up towards Freeland. Those are the areas that need to be taking shelter right now if you're just tuning in. And again, a like and a share go a long ways. You may not realize it, but the algorithm pushes it out to your fellow Michiganders if you simply hit that like and share button. So could be saving a life today. You never know. Feel free to hit that like button. We do appreciate it. Again, we're trying to cover as many Michiganders that need this coverage as possible. And again, we'll cover these storms until their warnings do expire today, which might be in a little while, especially as these storms continue to move very, very slowly off to the north and east, eventually leaving the parameters in place. Latest scan does uptick the rotation a little bit more, Ryan. I don't know if you saw that, but this is directly still on Stuart at M57. There. Yeah, so this rotation, the one to the north, it still is kind of disorganized, so that's good. However, if you are in the Chesaning area, this rotation has increased just a hair, directly on Stewart Road at M57, if you guys are just tuning in. And again, it's off to the northeast at 20 miles per hour, so it's moving relatively slowly. That being said, do not delay. If you're inside of this red polygon, you need to be taking shelter now, whether that's a basement, a storm shelter, an interior room on the first floor of your building. And again, if you don't have any interior rooms, excuse me, any bathroom with a bathtub is going to be your best option, because that bathtub acts as an extra set of walls that you can crouch down in, protect your head. And of course, you can kind of close yourself off. You put like a mattress or helmet or a blanket over you. Again, you ultimately do want to protect your head if you're in a tornado warning. And for those who are curious about the storms that have already hit, the National Weather Service will likely send out survey teams in the days to come. I know with incoming severe weather for Wednesday and Thursday as well, they might have to delay that just because they have to be on alert for other severe weather later this week. But in due time, they'll likely send out survey crews to go survey any of the damage that has occurred this afternoon, which, as I've seen, is Grand Ledge. And if there's another location I'm missing, feel free to say it right now, Ryan.
No, I don't have another location, but I was muted apparently the first time I was talking. What I said, guys, was over in the Thumb region for Sanilac and Huron counties, those cells over there are in a similar environment to that of these storms over further west. So we'll watch those cells as well.
So these two little cells in Bad Axe and Deckerville. Pulling up the cheat code for the atmosphere behind the scenes for those who are curious, just to see what that low level of vorticity, that spin the atmosphere is looking like. And yeah, as these storms move off to the east, especially if they continue to form, Lapeer County, Tuscola, Sanilac, and Huron counties need to be on alert, because that is where there is a supportive environment for some low-level spin, perhaps some land spouts. Tornado warning is continuing. I think they're trimming it again for the northern cell, according to behind the scenes here. And the reds and greens are starting to come together just a little bit more now around and north of Hemlock. This is going to be up in the vicinity of Frost Road. We're looking right in this area here. So there's just a wide area of reds and greens kind of paralleling each other, as I mentioned. So we'll name off a bunch of roads. It's going to be along and north of Lunny Road, Lunney. In fact, they shifted the tornado warning off to the east a little bit. A little bit surprised with given that there are still there's still some rotation off to the west here. So better to be safe than sorry, north of Lunny Road. So it's along Frost Road as well as Dice Road, and up here along the county line, which is Tittabawassee Road. And most of this rotation is off to the east of Iva Road now. So it's Iva Road, Brennan Road, Diner Road, Diner Road, Diener. We also have Hemlock Road, Fenn Road, EHN, and Ranchholz Road. That is all the areas that I mentioned here. That is right where the center of this rotation is primarily at. current time. So north of Hemlock now. Hemlock and Merrill, you guys have had the tornado warning drop because this rotation is now off to your north. So you guys are good now. If you're in Freeland, though, you still want to be on alert. And I would not be surprised if extreme eastern Midland County gets a warning here, just to kind of incorporate the rotation that's heading up in that direction. In fact, that rotation is getting very, very close to the Midland County line now. So if you are off near Schreiber Road, south of LaPorte Road in Midland County, you do want to be on alert even though you're not in a tornado warning. Back down to the south, rotation continues on Volkmer Road at Ammon Road. It's about 2 miles to the east of downtown Chesaning now. It looks like Chesaning downtown is now in the clear, but it is uncomfortably close to you guys, directly outside of the city limits, directly to the east here where these reds and greens are meeting up. Taking a look at some of the other cells around the area, there is a tiny bit in the Flushing area, not too concerning at the current time. If we go down to our cells that are following the I-69 corridor, also nothing too concerning. The Holt area, there's a cell there, also not as concerning at the current time. We'll keep an eye on it. There is a cell that is starting to pick up steam in the vicinity north of Brighton. It's right along M59, just to the west of Highland, and that's directly across the county line into Livingston County. So we'll keep an eye on that cell. And as Ryan mentioned, there are a bunch of cells trying to rotate in the Thumb region, east of Abad X at the current time, and north of Deckerville.
Have to watch the one west of Flint too. That looks like it's starting to get rotation on it as well.
Yeah. I mentioned that, however, the velocity is a little displaced at the current time with the Flushing cell. These pop-up storms are going to be on and off literally all day today through the evening hours as daytime heating kind of fuels these storms and pops them up here, there, and a little bit everywhere. But again, we'll stay live until these warnings do expire, and then as needed we will hop back on if more warnings come in later. But at the current time, there are still 2 tornado warnings in effect. If you guys are just tuning in, both of these tornado warnings are in effect until 1:15 at the latest. So they'll still got about 13 more minutes on these tornado warnings. Given the fact that the rotation is still present in some capacity, we'll likely see some new extensions here soon, I would imagine, from the National Weather Service in Detroit. Also, Midland County is Detroit jurisdiction. I thought that was Grand Rapids for a second, but yeah, it's Detroit jurisdiction. Detroit may issue a new one for extreme eastern Midland and Bay counties. That's southern Bay County. For the northern cells into the south, it would be eastern Saginaw County, so Birch Run, Frankenmuth, and the Bridgeport area if it continues its northeastward track. You can kind of see the progression of these tornado warnings on your screen. How they've kind of meandered their way across the counties this afternoon. They started over in Shiawassee and Saginaw County as number 1, and they're primarily only in Saginaw County at the current time.
Ooh.
So,
check out the distance here, a little rain-free base here, just west of our South Burton cam at Diamond Precast. That's looking right at that cell that we are tracking that has a little bit of displaced rotation near Flint. I'm going to watch that carefully.
that's good. That cam was courtesy of Diamond Precast in Genesee County. Well, their cams are crucial. In fact, the storm heading towards Midland, we do have a camera in Midland. However, it might be passing the rotation that we're looking at right now on this northern cell. Might be passing just to the south and east of that Midland camera as it continues up to the north. So we'll see if we can capture anything on camera there. But the current time, I think it's just going to be rain for downtown Midland. I'd be heading out more towards Freeland and Auburn at the current time with the current track and storm speed. Good news is I think Saginaw and Bay City and Munger are all going to be split by these cells, but cells can quickly fill the gap. So you don't want to let your guard down if you're in Saginaw, Milwaukee at the current time. You're not in a tornado warning. Just note, these cells can produce quick land spout tornadoes this afternoon. The odds of severe weather today were 1% or less for those who are curious. So this is kind of a defy the odds sort of day. As mentioned in our 6 a.m. severe weather outlook. Again, these are cells that are producing perhaps land spout tornadoes today, with damage coming in from the Grand Ledge area. Again, because these cells are hit or miss in nature, we can't really time out who and exactly where are going to get cells at what times throughout the afternoon. You just kind of have to keep an eye out on the radar with us. Very, very crucial that you guys know where you're located on a map if possible, because when we're doing the severe weather coverage, we simply don't have the time to answer everyone's questions about what about this city, what about that city. It's physically impossible, because then we're taking away from actually tracking these cells. So knowing where you're located on a map, very, very important on a day like today, especially when you have multiple cells out there that are rotating in nature. And again, we'll do our best to run through exactly what we're showing you guys on radar. So for example, right now, this red and the green, this is what we call the velocity radar. So your wind speeds out there that are moving either towards or away from the radar site. And when those reds and greens come close together like that, that's where rotation is most likely. Now, not all the time will the reds and greens close together mean rotation, but in today's case, it is a yes. We do have some very sneaky low-level rotation is the word we'll use as these storms continue off to the north and east at around 20 miles per hour. And again, pop-up cells are possible all day. You can see multiple more cells starting to pop up across the I-96 corridor, Ionia up to Stanton, down to Hastings, down to Kalamazoo, over to Mason and Olivet, even up to the north, and over into the Thumb as well. So as I mentioned, they're very sporadic in nature, and we can't track out the timing of these cells when they keep popping up and popping down at the same time. But at the current time, the main cells that are producing perhaps rotation and perhaps brief land spout tornadoes do continue. These ones, if they do stay together, will be heading up towards Burt, Bridgeport, and Birch Run. That's the southern cell that is rotating. To the north, Freeland, Auburn, and Midland. And in fact, that bit of rotation now, it does concern me a little bit because it is in Midland County, and Midland County is not warned. So if you know anyone in eastern Midland County, that would likely include downtown Midland and the Dow facility there. This is rotation that I'm now seeing on radar in Midland County. Correct me if I'm, or disagree with me if you want, Ryan, but I believe that is now on the LaPorte Road area near SAS, S-A-S-S-E. Yeah, it looks like yes, I do. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
I
let
need
you
to
do
keep
that
my-
again.
Yeah, I'll do that again. I guess there's complaints of background noise, so I mute myself when I'm not talking. I just don't unmute myself. We're talking about the roads being impacted here: LaPorte, Kent, Schreiber, Sassay Road, Kent Road, Scott Road, Smith Crossing, Thayer Road. Those general areas just to the west of Freeland, where Joel's highlighting on your map there. That's where the center of interest is. That is currently not warned in southern Midland County.
Second bit of rotation has started to weaken a little bit. It's on this far western periphery here of the cell. It looks like there's some gusty winds heading into Burt right now, but I'm still watching this very tail end of the cell in the Gasper and Chesaning Road area inside that tornado warned box. So keep an eye on that. There's some parallel shear here in the Elms Road area in Genesee County that we'll continue to monitor. In fact, it's really showing up on our SRV radar now, Ryan. That will be an area to watch as this heads into a more populated zone. It doesn't look like much really at all on our reflectivity radar, which is the measurement of the intensity of the rain that's falling. But nevertheless, we are seeing behind the scenes, or on radar here ourselves with the storm relative velocity radar, some reds and greens close together right here in Elms Road, south of Beecher Road. And that's, again, not warned in Genesee County at the current time. Again, we may see another warning pop up for Flint. That cell will continue off more towards the Mount Morris area with time. So keep an eye on that one. Keeping an eye on the Chesaning cell and keeping an eye on the Freeland and Midland cells at the current time. Again, if you're just tuning in, you're inside one of these red boxes. You know you live inside one of these red boxes. You should be taking shelter. Also, making a note of it right now, if you are in Midland County, far eastern Midland County, so these 4 square miles here, 16 square miles in southeastern Midland County, that is where the rotation is kind of overlapping into your county, other than far northern Saginaw. So keep that in mind. I would say still want to be in shelter now if you're in Midland County to the east side of the county, south of Midland. Any reports behind the scenes additionally at the current time, Ryan?
Not the time. I'm going through our comments now, though.
Alrighty. Another thing to put your mind at ease right now, for those who are curious, these red boxes, yes, they are tornado warnings. They are the lowest level of tornado warnings that you can see issued, just because they issue them for radar indicated rotation. That doesn't mean that something is on the ground, but something may be on the ground either in seconds from now, or it could be on the ground right now. They just don't have anyone on the ground to confirm that it is whether or not it is touching down. So it's the lowest level tornado warning you can get. You still want to be taking shelter. Warning means look out. The ingredients have come together for the conditions for tornadoes. That's different from a watch, where we should be on watch for conditions later today.
Got a viewer report behind the scenes of what looks to be a wall cloud, M57 in Gasper Road, which is just west of Montrose on that cell you said is looking a little bit displaced there. Yeah, that one right there.
Yep.
That's where it is. That was a real-time report, too. Also, another report of Gasper and Chesaning Road. Looks like the wall cloud is rotating 100%.
Is it a video?
Yeah, we have a confirmed video, real time. So thank you to you guys for messaging us these videos and pictures. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, so kind of my suspicions here. We're watching that very tail end of the storm. It doesn't look very impressive at all. It just looks like a general rain shower. In fact, on normal radar and on velocity, the reds and greens are kind of displaced a little bit, but nevertheless, it is rotating, according to you guys. Thank you guys very much for your reports. Right here at Chesaning and Gasper. There's Chesaning and Gasper right there with my mouse. I'm circling it. That's directly underneath where what I pointed out, where this rotation would be on the very tail end of that storm. So that would be heading up towards Gary Road near Bishop Road next up. And we do have multiple cells that we're watching. So up north to Freeland area. Freeland's in the tornado warning. However, there is better rotation right now in
A new
Midland
tornado
County.
warning has been issued.
And here comes Genesee County, as mentioned, and look at that. That rotation has really picked up. We noticed it 2 scans ago when it looked like this. Now we take a look at 2 scans later, and it is
Check
really
your
picking
CC
up
on that.
intensity.
Yeah, I was gonna say check your CC.
CC not showing anything yet, but that again may be different in the next scan from now. That is rotating tightly now.
Yes.
On Pasadena Avenue at Pine Hill Place, subdivision here in Genesee County. So new tornado warning now, including for Flint. We do have weather cameras out in the area. We'll keep an eye on this cell. Heading up towards Beecher, Mount Morris, and Clio, and Genesee, all including this tornado warning. The details do read this. The National Weather Service in Detroit Pontiac has issued a new tornado warning for northern Genesee County and southeastern Michigan until 2 p.m. At 1:13, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Flushing. That's about a mile to the east of Flushing here, according to Velocity. It's moving to the northeast at 20 miles per hour. It is radar indicated rotation. The hazard is tornado. And this storm will be near Flint, Clio, Burton, Mount Morris, Beecher, and Crossroads Village within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Otisville around 1:35. Other locations impacted by this severe thunderstorm this tornadic thunderstorm include Genesee and Thetford Township. Again, take cover now. Move to a basement or interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows if you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. This is probably going to take main priority here right now, just because the tornado warnings to the north have both been canceled. They ran out of time, I should say. At 1:15 is when they're set to expire. So no more tornado warnings for the Saginaw County region. But again, would not be surprised if they issue a new one soon, just because of how much sneaky spin is in the atmosphere out there today. Taking a look back at CC, still nothing in terms of debris that I'm seeing at the current time, but it is very close, perhaps producing damage. So that is your rotation right there, where the reds and greens come close together. Ryan, if you wanted to mention some roads on your end, just because they do pop up easier, I have to hover over my roads to rest them off. So go ahead.
Pearson Road and Kelly Road and Linden Road is where it's at, about to cross I-75 at Pearson Road. It'll cross up by West Carpenter, North Jennings, and then eventually cross Coldwater and 475.
And these are fairly populated areas too. North side of Flint, downtown Beecher, downtown Mount Morris. This rotation is all heading towards you guys at the current time, eventually heading towards Genesee and Clio. You guys should be taking shelter. If you know anybody in this area right now, this is a semi-serious situation with a tornado warning in effect. North of downtown Flint, pass along this word right now, tornado warning in effect at the current time. It's about to cross over I-75. If you're on I-75, please do not take shelter underneath an overpass. Again, the tunneling effect is a real thing. You can get sucked out if you are sheltering underneath an overpass. Ditch is going to be your preferred method if possible. Again, otherwise, if you do have time, get off the highway, take shelter in a sturdy structure if possible. If you're listening to this and you're on I-75 right now, you should be taking shelter. We're talking probably gas stations or restaurants. They usually have those walk-in coolers. I mention this every time I go and do presentations for places around the state. I always mention, you may laugh, but these gas stations, sometimes stores, restaurants, they all have these walk-in coolers with reinforced walls. It's a good place to shelter if it comes down to it. So if need be, head to those locations. You have time. If not, again, a ditch is going to be your preferred option. Again, heading up towards I-75 at the current time. Pearson Road at Linden Road is right where the center of this rotation is currently at. How's it look on our Diamond precast cam right now?
I've been staring at it for a while. I don't see anything. There was a base that we were tracking, and it's moved off to the north. I do not have visual of it because of the way this camera is set up, but we do have the Burton North camera. We'll take a peek at that once it comes through, and then from there we'll have Lapeer cameras.
Turn it back a little bit to the west a little bit. I think it's a little bit I think it's right where the stairwell is. I think it's behind that stairwell there.
Right, the wall cloud was actually over here where my mouse is at. This is where it was, but that potentially could be something as well. Looking on where it's at on maps, I think it is more to the northeast toward this white water tower thing or cell tower.
We also do have our camera at Burton, courtesy of Guardian Technologies, if that does have a view at some point when it does continue to move north of Burton. Again, Beecher, Mount Morris, Genesee are all the top 3 cities in the crosshairs for the center rotation. Correlation coefficient, still not seeing anything in terms of debris on radar at the current time. We're looking for these areas on radar where this purplish reddish hue kind of changes over to more of a green and a blue speck or cluster of specks on radar, and right now we're not really seeing that. So good news there. However, that may change if this rotation continues towards Beecher and Mount Morris. Right now the center rotation has updated. It is on I-75. Sorry, that's US 23, isn't it? Nope, that is I-75. It's both at the same time. So I-75, US 23 at Pearson Road is right where the center of the rotation is at. It's now also crossing Jennings Road at Pearson and Jennings Road at Carpenter. You have Home, Piper, Hobson, Grace Lawn, Sherman, Mott, Linden, and Parkway and Ridgeway Avenue. A bunch of east-west roads in the little subdivision here that are all underneath this rotation. Also more subdivision roads of Woodhaven Drive, Hampshire Avenue, Skander Drive, Corleen, and Birch Lane, as well as Judith Ann Drive and Mayfried Drive. So a bunch of different subdivisions here directly underneath that center rotation. I'm going to go back to the north too because another bit of rotation has popped up in Montrose that may need to be warned here as well. This center of rotation in the vicinity of Montrose, not warned by the way, Lake Road at Marshall Road, as it would be heading directly towards Birch Run if it persists. Would not be surprised if we get a new tornado warning shortly for Birch Run. You need to be taking shelter now if you are southwest of Birch Run from that cell right here. Again, the reds and greens on radar that just popped up right on Lake at Marshall, north of Montrose. So you can see there's reds and greens here, about 5 miles to the northwest of downtown Flint, and reds and greens up here, about 1.5 miles north of Montrose, both in Genesee County. Updated rotation, lesser in nature, but still persisting on Marshall Road, about 1/4 mile south of the county line, which is Willard Road, kind of propagating up to the north instead of northeast, which would take it to the west side of Birch Run. Update down here in the Flint region and the Beecher region has now put it on and now over I-75. So it's now east of I-75 on Jennings Road at Kimberly Woods Drive. So if you know you are in the vicinity of Kimberly Woods, it's a subdivision there at Jennings Road. The center rotation is directly over you guys right now. Do not wait to see this tornado. Take shelter now. In fact, there's a lot of rain out in front of this rotation. And so on a day like today, you may not see it coming. Don't wait to see it. Your safety is key. You do want to be taking shelter now if you're in Mount Morris and Beecher. Again, it's going to be shrouded in rain. You saw it firsthand with our camera there at South Burton, courtesy of Diamond Precast. It is tough to see out in the distance, mainly because there's trees in the way, but there is a little bit of precipitation trying to hide it there. At the current time, not seeing anything on our debris tracker that signifies tornado on the ground, but the rotation is strong enough that it does warrant a tornado warning. So level 1 of 4 tornado warning now in effect. It's the only tornado warning that we're seeing right now, or it is the only tornado warning that's in effect right now for the state of Michigan. Would not be surprised if we do get a secondary tornado warning for the Birch Run area. Continuing to watch that. Still also watching the Freeland area, of course, near Auburn. That still continues to persist in terms of broader rotation. So again, if you're in Midland and Auburn, just keep an eye on the sky and let us know what you guys are seeing up there. And we do have another cell off, even up here in Isabella County, Ryan, that does show at least upper level rotation north of Mount Pleasant, unwarned at the current time. But our primary focal point right now is the strongest rotation, which is heading up towards Beecher and Mount Morris in Genesee County. Current time right now is listed on the bottom right side of the screen. Current time is 1:23 p.m. If it is not 1:23 where you're at, if it's not 1:23 where you're at, the stream looks a little bit delayed. Feel free to refresh the stream and jump back in and make sure it is updated. Watching a new cell trying to pop up near Holly. Current time, not a concern yet, but again, could be the same thing with the Genesee County cell where it went from 0 to 100 within 4 scans. So you can see where it started at, just near Schwartz Creek. There's the first signs of reds and greens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in 6 scans went from nothing to tornado warning. With the scans being 2.5 minutes apart right now, it's about 10 minutes for the cell to pop up and produce a tornado warning. So not saying that it will happen, but if it were down here in the Holly region, it could pop up in as little as 10 to 15 minutes for any other cells out there. Rotation has now moved a little bit further to the east. It is now in the vicinity of Coldwater Road, at Bicentennial Drive, which is a dead end road. The next crossroads up here is Coldwater and Clio Road near Cedar Shores Boulevard. So it's about not even a mile from where center of Beecher is located. So if you're in Beecher and Mount Morris, you should be taking shelter. If you're just tuning in and are just now seeing this information, your time to take shelter is now. Do not delay. Do not wait to see this tornado. If there is one on the ground, take shelter now. So Beecher, Mount Morris, you guys are up next. I keep flipping between velocity and correlation coefficient radar here. Correlation coefficient is your debris tracker, and we're not seeing the blue specks on the ground, which is a good sign that this is likely not completely fully condensed to the ground. But the rotation is there. We're seeing it firsthand on radar. The reds and greens close together like that. That is inbound versus outbound wind heading towards and away from the radar site. Where those come close together is where the center of the rotation would be. If you're in this red box, if you know you live in Genesee County, so here's Genesee County right here. If you follow my mouse, there's the edge of Genesee County. Looks like the shape of Utah, but flipped. The red box is your tornado warning. So if you are inside of that red box, you know you live inside that red box, you are in a tornado warning right now. Let's say you're down in Grand Blanc or Linden, and you're hearing the sirens and the alerts are going off on your phone. The good news is for you guys is you're not in the warning by technicality. The red box designates where exactly this tornado warning is at. So again, Clio, Otisville, Mount Morris, the edge of Otter Lake, and Beecher and Genesee and Flushing and downtown Flint, all inside of that red polygon that you see on your screen. Respect the polygon. Take shelter now on the lowest floor of the building. Basement's obviously going to be your best option. If you have time, obviously a mobile home is not the greatest place to be, but if you have nowhere else to go, sheltering in that interior bathtub is going to be your best option. It is now very, very close to Beecher and Mount Morris at the current time. It is now passing on and over, I believe this is 475 here. 475 and Stanley Road near McAlpine Drive and Neff Road. So it's very, very close to the center of Mount Morris and Beecher. Again, if you're just tuning in, you're just now hearing this information, you live in Mount Morris and Beecher, you should be taking shelter now and staying in shelter until this bit of rotation does pass and or the warning does expire for the area. The good news is if you're in Flint, it looks like the majority of this is staying off to the north of downtown Flint. Just be mindful of the cell. It's still currently off to the west here of downtown. That's not what is currently getting the warning. It's the cell in Mount Morris. But again, at any point, these cells can pick up the rotation in about 10 minutes time, as we've seen in multiple instances this afternoon. Multiple ways to receive warning this afternoon, as always, are Midland Weather radios. Go ahead.
Joel, stand by. Confirmed Larry Lee's funnel cloud, if not land spout. Birch Run and Burt. As of 4 minutes ago from a viewer. Got a picture of it.
Okay. Yeah, send that over to
I'm on
National Weather
it.
Service. Perfect.
That's
and that
unconfirmed.
rotation, yeah, that rotation was intense around the 120 or 118 time frame when we were mentioned here, just about to the north of Montrose. On Keewaydin Road, near Marshall Road, that has now passed off. It is now over Birch Run at the current time, if there is still rotation there. Not seeing the impressive signature that we once did see, but it doesn't take much. Again, on radar, if you guys are just have missed the information from the last couple of minutes, last hour or so, these storms are very shallow today. And so, again, with the curvature of the Earth and the radar beam being angled at 0.5 degrees, eventually with time, that beam, that lowest angle of the atmosphere for that radar beam, is going to climb and climb and climb. And when you get far enough away from the radar, the low-level spin is actually not being picked up on radar because the radar beam is actually overshooting that low-level rotation. So in Birch Run, for example, right now, as the storm continues to move off to the north, it's getting further away from the radar site that is in the Clarkston area. For example, move my thing here. Birch Run is the lowest angle here in Birch Run is about 2,600 feet off the ground. So anything below 2,600 feet in the atmosphere, we simply cannot see on radar. And so that's where ground truth comes in very important for the warning process. So we do appreciate the land spout report sent in from the Birch Run area. We are sending that over to the National Weather Service in Detroit right now, and you may likely see a new tornado warning coming in as a result of your report here on stream. So let us be that area or that mode of communication between you and the National Weather Service office. Send in your reports to us. I will say this disclaimer once, I might say it again. Please do not ask us questions in terms of locations and what to expect, whether that's in Messenger or here in chat, because again, we are tracking the data live. If we did it for every single individual person, we simply would not be able to track the current rotation that is ongoing. So keep that in mind. Save our Messenger, our comments for damage that you have coming in, and of course pictures that you have of the storms. That is the most important thing right now to get these warnings out for the population that needs it. So damage reports are needed. Any funnel clouds, any tornadoes that are on the ground, send them our way. We do appreciate you guys, and of course we appreciate you guys for tuning in and staying weather aware with us this afternoon on this sneaky severe weather day in the east side of the state primarily. And again, we can't track timing of these storms today because these are popcorn storms. So they keep popping up and popping down, and popping all around. So no matter where you're at in the Lower Peninsula today, pop-up storms are possible. I will say this, there's a clearing line that is starting kind of along and west of 131. So most of this action is going to stay to the east of 131 throughout the evening hours. But again, you can't rule out any sort of landspout tornadoes until we really start to lose that daytime heating, which is around sunset tonight, so around 8 or 9 o'clock. So this could be going on throughout the day today. We may not get enough time to take many breaks today if this rotation continues, but we'll continue to watch. And again, once these warnings do expire, of course, we'll hop off and take a break, as our policy here at Michigan Storm Chasers does note. However, again, we will be watching every single individual cell closely, whether on the stream or behind the scenes here at MSC. Again, the odds of severe weather today were 1% or less for all hazards risk today, and the tornado warnings have kind of defied the odds today so far. So
another video coming in of damage in Freeland with a tornado or a landspout that is on the ground. That was a few minutes ago. This was 13 minutes ago out of Freeland.
A few minutes ago, to put it at 1718Z, which is 118, which is about the same time as the Birch Run tornado. That would be this scan right here. Is it in or south of Freeland, or just in Freeland?
Crossroad would be Garfield Road, Freeland and Garfield Road.
You might be able to see that on your radar.
I'm looking for it.
See Garfield.
I don't see. Okay, where is it at?
Freeland Garfield is about a mile to the east of Freeland.
East, okay.
That was right when that tornado warning pretty much expired too. So you can see even on radar about
Detroit is aware of the report from Bertrand.
You can see on radar, I mean, you look at the reds and the greens on radar for where that landspout damage was at. There's not a whole lot there showing up on radar. And again, at Freeland here, that's 5,000 feet off the ground. So everything below 5,000 feet, we're not able to see on radar. And so that is likely why, or that is why some of these warnings don't get issued, is because on days like today where the rotation is so shallow in the atmosphere, it's just the limitations of technology that we have. We can't see what's happening because of that. If we had more radars across the state, sure. Fortunately, those radars, as Ryan knows and I know, those radars, you have to buy the land, you have to ride off on it. One radar alone costs probably $25-30 million just to install and then maintain every single year. And so that's why we only have, 4 or 5 different radars in the state of Michigan, with the closest one to Saginaw all the way down here in the Clarkson area. So it's a long ways to go to see the data all the way up here in the Freeland and Auburn area. If you're in the red tornado warning box, you are in the tornado warning officially. So if you're in Montrose, Schwartz Creek, Grand Blanc, Burton, Davison, Goodrich, I'm listing these cities for a reason, even down towards Linden, and you're hearing the sirens, the good news is you're not in the tornado warning. Remember, respect the polygon if you know you're inside this red box. As I mentioned, it's good to know where you're located on a county-based map, so that way when you see tornado warnings in portions of your county, you can say, hey, I know exactly whether or not I'm inside that red polygon, should I be taking shelter or not. That comes in crucial on a day like today where these red boxes continue to pop up and pop down every so often. That rotation, by the way, right now is in Mount Morris. For those who need an update, the reds and greens that you guys have been seeing on radar is on Neff Road, near vicinity of Wolfett, Haven Street, and about to cross over the east-west road of Francis Road, I believe is how it's pronounced. I could be incorrect. This is also crossing M54 within the next 2 to 3 minutes in the Mount Morris vicinity. On base reflectivity, which is your measurement of the intensity of the rain, that's still a decent looking cell there compared to some of the other ones around the area. So you still want to be on notice if you're off to the north and east of Mount Morris at the current time. Current track for those who are in Genesee and Burton, good news for you guys here is it looks like it's going to be staying just off to your north. It is continuing to get closer to Clio, but it looks like it is at its current trajectory going to pass between Clio and Otisville on that stretch of M57 there. So M57 corridor has been a topic of discussion today. And M57 may be impacted here very closely within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Current time now is 1:36 p.m. I am Chief Meteorologist Joel Fritzman on the top right of your screen, alongside Ryan, President of Operations below me. And we are the Michigan Storm Chasers, established 2022. We've covered every single severe thunderstorm warning and tornado warning in the state of Michigan since late 2023. That's a stretch of about 850 severe and tornado warnings in a row that we've covered live from beginning to end. So if you're new here today and need statewide severe weather coverage with the convenience of it being on your phone, simply just hit that follow button. Anytime we go live, you'll get a notification on your device. Of course, if you follow us on Facebook, unfortunately, there's no way to send notifications on Facebook automatically. We may occasionally send manual notifications, but again, we're here for you guys anytime these warnings do pop up. Anywhere you go in the state of Michigan, all 83 counties, even in the Upper Peninsula, will be live tracking severe warnings from beginning to end with our staff of meteorologists and forecasters here at MSC. Sirens going off in Grand Blanc for the third and fourth time. Yeah, that's just the policy there. Another thing to remember is with sirens, first and foremost, you're only supposed to hear them outdoors. I'm just making that PSA right now is if you guys need the knowledge of that right now, you're not supposed to hear the sirens indoors. They're for outdoor use only. If you hear them indoors, that's good. It's an extra mode of warning, but it's your fail-safe option if none of these other modern ways of receiving warning do not get to you. So again, weather radios, apps on your phone, us here at MSC, text message alert systems on your phone. There's multiple ways to receive warning nowadays other than the sirens, which are only intended to be heard outdoors. And another thing with sirens that's kind of alluding to is sometimes they only sound them for 3 to 5 minutes at a time to give you guys that initial alert. They're not supposed to stay on in some cases, especially since some of them can't run for long periods of time without overheating, especially with those older sirens. So again, please check these red boxes on your screens, these tornado warning boxes. That's the most important part in whether or not the tornado warning is still ongoing for your area. The sirens do not signify whether or not tornado warning is ongoing. Got it? Cool. So if you're in the red box, that's the tornado warning. You can see in Grand Blanc, they've had their sirens turn on for the now third and fourth time in a row, and they're not even a tornado warning. So it goes to show you that, again, the red boxes are your main mode of warning. Rotation continues. It is now on and north of downtown Mount Morris on Francis Road, I imagine, and Dort Highway, which is M54, and Dodge Road. A bunch of different subdivisions out here as well. Lincoln Avenue, Main Street, First Street, Third Street, Morgan Drive again, South Creek Drive. So a bunch of different subdivisions out here just to the north of downtown Mount Morris, about 1.25 miles outside of town. Yeah, the rotation right now is directly over Mount Morris. So the reds and the greens you see on radar is your center of rotation. And it is now shifted a little bit to the east. It's on Francis Road and Lewis Road and Dodge Road. So still that same vicinity. Also getting uncomfortably close to Valley Church. Valley Church at Lyle Meadow Lane. I would imagine we will maybe see a trim here shortly, Ryan, for this tornado warning, because this tornado warning is often the far northern portions of Genesee County at the current time. Still can see a couple showers popping in throughout this tornado warning box, but the main area of concern is where these reds and greens are at in the vicinity of Mount Morris. So yes, downtown Flint, downtown Flushing is still in the tornado warning box. They'll likely trim it here within the next 5 minutes, I would imagine, as the rotation is now far north of you guys. So zooming out the big picture, you can see all the tornado warning boxes that were and are at the current time as of 1:41 here on this Tuesday afternoon. These cells are going to continue throughout the afternoon hours and into the evening hours across the state of Michigan with that continuous low-level spin out there we have in the atmosphere. However, we can't track out timing of these individual cells because they're popcorn cells. They pop up, they pop down within 30 minutes time frame. And again, they're going to continue throughout the day today until we get to the nighttime hours where that instability kind of dwindles down and it's not able to fuel these storms. We do have a area of low pressure moving through the area, and it's allowing these storms to grow upscale, coupled with that spin in the atmosphere at the low levels to produce some brief land spouts today, and already a couple instances of damage coming in from, Ryan, you said Freeland, Birch Run, and Grand Ledge. Unmute. Ryan, unmute. There you go.
Grand Ledge confirmed from damage there. I'm working on confirming reports from Freeland, and I'm not yet sure for Birch Run.
Got it. I see our ASL interpreter is also online now, so I don't know if you want to hop over to the Stream Ops.
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Feel free to also send it back live once we get over there.
I don't have their cameras on yet.
Not yet, but we can hop over there.
Yep.
The other room. There we go. We're in here now, Dawn, if you can hear us. Feel free to turn on your camera. We have your stream in the corner. And for those who are new here, yes, we do have ASL from time to time on our streams here at MSC. We're glad to have Dawn and Caitlin on board from time to time to help out with sign language for those who may be deaf or hearing impaired. Did we get a trim, Ryan? We did get a trim. So the tornado warning has been trimmed, as I mentioned about 3 minutes ago. Flushing and Flint, Central Genesee County, is no longer in this tornado warning. However, Mount Morris, Genesee, Otisville, on the northern half of Genesee County are still in this tornado warning. Center rotation. We flip it over here to our velocity radar. Dodge Road at Lewis Road, heading off to the northeast. And as a reminder, this storm is moving off to the northeast at 20 miles per hour, with a hazard being tornado radar indicated So it's a level 1 of level 4 tornado warnings, the lowest level tornado warning you can get. However, if you're in the red box that you see on your screen, you should be taking shelter and staying in shelter until that red box does expire from your location.
Joel, I can confirm viewer reports of damage. We have roof damage as well as appears to be some roof peeled back. We also have a trailer flipped in Freeland or near Freeland. Working on getting more specific location, but we do have confirmed damage coming out of Freeland.
Got it. So pretty close to downtown, correct?
I don't know that yet. I'm trying to get location.
Gotcha. So that's, if it's the Freeland Road and Garfield Road area that we were mentioning, that's out by the airport on the east side of town. I'm not sure if maybe a METAR station picked it up earlier for a wind gust there. It's possible. But again, as Ryan mentioned there, damage coming in from far northern Saginaw County. That you said, Ryan, was on Freeland Road at Garfield Road earlier and likely other locations surrounding. Again, that's northern Saginaw County from earlier. There's no current threat for Freeland. That cell is now moved off into Bay County towards Call-In and Bay City. One tornado warning in effect at the current time. It is north of Genesee and Mount Morris. It is on Wilson Road now. The north-south road of Bray and Genesee and Center Road is where the center of this rotation is passing through right now, or is about to in the next minute or so. Otisville, it looks like it's going to be primarily off to your west. Same thing for Otter Lake. It is passing over M57, I believe. Shows up as Vienna Road. Yeah, it's M57. So between Clio and Otisville is where that center rotation is right now, where the red and green come close together on radar. Multiple people in chat mentioning sirens for the 4th time in portions of Genesee County. It's good that they're working. If you're in downtown Flint, the good news is this warning is now off to your north. You can see that red box is about 7 or 8 miles off to your north now. Same thing for Burton and Davison. Davison was never in the tornado warning, but that tornado warning is off to your north. I'm going to take a quick look around the area, any of the other cells. There are some down in far southeastern Washtenaw County. Those do not currently exhibit rotation. We'll keep an eye on them. The Thumb region also has cells popping up, and this is the area where the vorticity right now is the strongest. So it would not be confirmed if you are in Huron, in Sanilac counties. Be on alert. You could see some pop-up funnel clouds or perhaps brief land spouts north of Sandusky at the current time. I'm watching the cell about 4 miles north of Sandusky at the current time near Forester Road that has some reds and greens on it. That would be passing near Deckerville, which, as you guys know, Deckerville did get hit last year. Tornado warning for Genesee County remains in effect until 2 p.m. So it's got about another 2 minutes here. Sorry, 12 minutes. Correction, of course. For a possible tornado, hail size is 0 inches. It's literally just issued for a possible tornado. As a reminder, if you are in this tornado warning box, a basement is your top option or a storm shelter. Otherwise, interior room on the lowest floor of the building, whether that's in an apartment or a 2-story house. If you live in an upstairs apartment, make friends with your downstairs neighbor. Ask them if you can come inside and take shelter in their place. If you're in a mobile home, you do have time to relocate. Obviously, do that now, but best place to be sheltering in a mobile home is, of course, that interior bathtub, which does act as an extra set of walls between you and the outdoors. Rotation right now is on M57 at, looking for the road name here, Center Road. Real quick, just going to check out radar up north. So make sure we're not missing anything up here in northeast lower, because there is still a similar environment ongoing up here as well. A lot of these cells at the current time do not exhibit the reds and greens close together. Would still be watching out for Bay County just because it is in the vicinity of where that highest vorticity or the low level spin is in the atmosphere. But our primary focal point, I think right now, is going to be that Lapeer, Tuscola, Sanilac, and Huron County areas at the current time, as well as Genesee County, obviously, where the tornado warning is in effect. If this tornado warning does get extended, it would be for Tuscola County, and the northeast movement would put it up towards Millington and perhaps Vassar and Mayville within the next probably about 45 minutes or less, just because the storm motion is off to the northeast at 20 miles per hour. So keep that in mind. For those who are asking the question themselves, wait, there wasn't really supposed to be severe weather today, right? You would be correct. Again, this is a general thunderstorm day, is what we call it, with a 0 to 1% chance of severe weather. Now, again, even on our non-severe days, thunderstorms kind of have a mind of their own sometimes, and we saw that today with damage coming in from multiple locations across central Michigan. Now, Bay County is really far away from the radar site. I am still seeing a mix of reds and greens north of Auburn at the current time. If you're in Bay County right now, feel free to send us pictures of what you guys are seeing. There's no warnings in effect, but I'm curious to see what just the general cloud structure looks like up in that area, just because it is so far away from every single radar that we do have in the state of Michigan. Bay County, by the way, is serviced by the radar all the way down here in Clarkston. For those who know, the drive from Clarkston all the way up to, Pinconning and Standish, that's probably what, an hour and a half, 2 hours, give or take. I'm not well versed with travel on the east side of the state, but I know that's at least an hour and a half. So that's how far away your radar is. Otherwise, you have to use the one in Grand Rapids or the one all the way up here in Gaylord. So that's why it's really hard to see what is happening at the surface in these areas. In fact, this area of Bay County, 6,300 feet off the ground is the lowest elevation the radar beam has. So anything below 6,300 feet, we can't see on radar. So basically, Bay County in general, Midland County, even up here into the thumb into Huron County, all kind of in that radar dead zone is what we call it. And that does not help on days where there is low level rotation in the atmosphere. We got 8 minutes left on our tornado warning for northern Genesee County, which does include Clio, Mount Morris, Genesee, Otisville, and extreme western Otter Lake, which is on the border of Genesee and Lapeer County. Rotation right now is where these reds and greens are close together. Updated scan just came in. That is going to be on Lake Road at Center Road. There's also a tiny unnamed drive there, heading off towards Genesee Road, right along the county line, which is County Line Road.
Also watching the Reese area a little bit closer too for some height and velocity.
Yeah, good eye on that one. It's tricky in a day like today. Cells and bits of rotation that you would often overlook, or just velocity generally you'd often overlook on a day like today, can and will produce brief land spout tornadoes. Current time now 1:54 p.m. Bottom right side of the screen is where our interpreter is, of course, at, and our live time. If you guys need reference points down there in the bottom right corner of the screen, feel free to use them as needed. Highest active alert in the state, of course, is a tornado warning. It's the only warning in the state. And Michigan is the only state in the nation right now with an active severe alert, whether that's a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. So, yay, lucky us, I guess. But at the current time, as the only tornado warning in the state and the only tornado warning in the nation here at 1:54 p.m.
If we can catch a break here in that 7-minute time frame here, I'm going to probably stop the stream and have Joel take over because I still have daily videos to make and a lot of stuff to do behind the scenes still. So if we get a chance to break, we're going to take it.
Yeah, if you guys are new here, I know we have a bunch of new viewers today. First off, welcome in. We do appreciate you guys for finding the MSC family. We've got 1 million of you guys strong between Facebook, YouTube, Twitch TV, X, and more. Again, our social media handle is at MI Storm Chasers. And we go live anytime there are severe warnings or tornado warnings in the state of Michigan. So if you need a new home for severe weather, right on the convenience of your phone, we got you covered. We've had you covered since 2022 when we started doing this, and we aren't going to let you down when it comes to the severe weather coverage. So make sure to stick with us and, of course, hit that follow button if you haven't yet. And as Ryan mentioned, he is currently the host of the stream. He's still got to make a daily video forecast for today on our YouTube channel. And so once this warning expires, we'll likely stop the stream. And then when a new warning comes back in, we'll go live again for part 2 coverage. Because again, we go live anytime there is a warning in effect. So another thing to remember is we're always going to be watching behind the scenes if needed when there's no warnings going on, but there's still something to talk about on radar. We'll post stuff even on our social media handles. So over on Facebook, over on X, over on Instagram, we'll post radar updates on areas that we might be watching behind the scenes prior to going live here at MI Storm Chasers. See one comment about the quality being a little bit bad on the stream. Again, it might be on your guys' end, could be your Wi-Fi, but if not, there is a little gear. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a little gear icon in the bottom right corner that you can click, and you can change it to 1080p 60 frames per second, the highest quality that we have. We are streaming live in high definition. Station's still kind of there on Center Road at County Line Road. About to jump into Tuscola County. Still watching the Reese area, as Ryan mentioned, in the vicinity of Wilder Road. But no warning at the current time anywhere in Tuscola County. I'm still curious on Bay County as well, near I-75, north of Auburn. There still appears to be some sort of velocity, broad in nature, up here south of Pinconning, which is very close to the Saginaw Bay. Yeah, I'm watching this area closely. I'll circle it with my mouse so you guys can see it. That central portion of Bay County is kind of what I've been looking at over the last couple minutes here and there. So let us know. Again, in Bay County, your radar coverage up there is very poor, so ground truth matters very, very much. And also, I will say this, we do have our weather camera network of now 105 weather cameras across the state of Michigan. If you are a business or just a resident that would love to sponsor a weather camera, feel free to send us an email, a contact at michiganstormchasers.com or Ryan at michiganstormchasers.com. Those are your contact emails to get the ball rolling for perhaps a sponsorship for a weather camera. In some of these areas where the radar coverage is poor, we do need some ground truth. So appreciate you guys if you guys are interested in sponsoring a weather camera. Yeah, some of these cells with time are going to be heading off towards the Detroit region. In fact, there is a cell right now that is entering Wayne County that will need to be monitored. It's actually directly over the radar site, Ryan, at the current time. I'm going to switch over to that radar. Definitely some heightened velocities at the radar site in the far southwestern corner of Wayne County on Willow Road at Carr Road. So I'll have to keep an eye on that bit here. That'll be heading up towards New Boston and Willow with time. Again, those reds and greens are a lot brighter than you see the reds and the greens surrounding it, and that is a sign of stronger winds in the area. It might not be rotating winds, but they're still winds nonetheless.
For reference, Joel, on the airport radar, I don't see much of anything.
Directly
on the
over it
airport?
from.
Okay, I don't
Yeah,
have
I'm
this
on the
already on,
airport.
so
Yeah, I do.
I don't see it on my end for some reason.
If you look at it from the National Weather Service office radar, the
can
center of
see
rotation
that.
is, I kid you not, directly over that radar. So we're not going to see really anything because of the beam.
Yeah, I see it now. It's coming out the other end.
And it is now 2 o'clock. So the tornado warning has been dropped officially for Genesee County because it ran out of time. The rotation may continue into Tuscola County here on Courier Road, up towards Arbela Road, and eventually we'll be heading off towards Millington. We are now warning free for the first time since the beginning of the stream. So give yourselves all a round of applause for making it through this wave. And a pat on the back. Keep an eye on some more bits of rotation up and down this line as the afternoon goes on. Ryan, I'm curious if now is the time to jump off, or do we
We need
want
to
to
jump
wait and
off
see what?
ASAP so we can get ready to go back live in case that does do anything. I want to take the chance now. So we're going to wrap things up here. Joel, do you want to go through our trusted partners?
Actually, could you do that since you can flip through them pretty quickly on your end?
I can. Give me a second.
Yeah, so we're all clear. For those who are just tuning in, there are no more warnings in effect. Oh, a heat advisory.
I saw the red and I was confused for a second.
Yeah. We won't stay live for a heat advisory. That's in effect for another day and 5 hours. So we're not going to be live for 30 hours for that. We don't track heat in real time, but you'll see posts on our page about the heat over the next couple of days.
All right, let's go ahead and roll through our trusted partners here. We have A-Class Construction Restoration, American Arbor, Apex Restoration, Battle Creek IT, Carlton Equipment, Crystal Flash, Ink Media, Katz Roofing and Siding, Kuiper Tree Care, McKay Tree Specialist, Mike Hayes Roofing and Siding, On Top Roofing, Rainbow Restoration, Surfbro, Storm Guard, Top Gun Roofing, Top Notch Tree Care, Victor's Home Solutions, and the Ronald McDonald House of Detroit as our trusted partners here at Michigan Storm Chasers. You can find more about these people on our website. If you happen to need tree service, roofing, construction, or you need equipment, we have a lot of services to offer you guys through our partners. So feel free to contact us if you'd like to get a hold of them, or you can contact them directly if you know who is the sponsor for your appropriate area. With that being said, I think we should end this here pretty quickly so we can get set back up just in case. I don't want to linger too long because the last thing I want to happen is continue to have to stay on here and forgo the daily video. So we're going to end this right now, and then Joel will get set back up to host, and I'm going to get working on the daily video. So we'll have updates for you guys on the upcoming severe threats tomorrow and Thursday in video form, and also live stream form tonight, 7 o'clock, if there's no severe weather ongoing. So we'll catch you all tonight. Anything else you want to add to this, Joel?
Stay tuned for part 2 coverage. Make sure to hit that follow button so that way you get notified when we go live, if we do go live again later today for part 2 coverage. And again, that would be following us on Facebook, Twitch, or X, because those send out automated notifications. You can follow us on Facebook, but you'll have to manually check to see if we're live on Facebook, if so. And once again, shout out to our moderators and our sponsors who are helping out with the stream. And again, if it wasn't for our trusted partners, we wouldn't be able to do this for free for you guys. So again, shout out to our trusted partners. That's all I have.
All right, we're going to roll the outro. I'll catch you all hopefully tonight, but in the event there's more severe weather, we'll catch you all in a few minutes or a couple hours. Thanks for watching, guys.
See you guys soon.